Hi, my name is Bethany, and I'm a worshiper here at Storehouse Dallas. And I have a testimony to tell about the Lord's goodness and love in my life. It was about in my early 20s, I started having major teeth problems. I would get abscesses, and I'd have to go to the dentist and get antibiotics and wait for the swelling to go down, get multiple teeth extracted over the years. And I visited multiple dentists to try to figure out what I could do to prevent what was happening. I changed my diet. I changed my lifestyle just to try to figure out what was going on. And nothing seemed to be working. I think it was about 7 years ago, I went to a holistic dentist, and I thought I'd try that route. And I sat in front of this dentist, and she's very, she's a believer, very, well-renowned actually in the Metroplex. And I said, look, I don't know what's going on. She said, honey, I've never seen teeth like that before, unless it's been in a crystal meth addict. And I was shook, I was just like, I've never touched that. And she said, well, I don't know what to tell you, but what we can do is put you on this plan, and it's going to cost about $30,000. And to my dismay, I went home and I cried. And I remember picking up the phone. I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I'm so just sad. Like, why would the Lord do this to me? And I remember the Lord speaking to me, and he said, no, I'm going to show up, and I'm going to give you a brand new smile. And so a good chunk of my life, I actually dealt with depression. And so I would go to counselor after counselor to try to figure out what's going on, in my heart. And all the while, as I'm, walking through my 20s, my teeth are getting worse, and my confidence is going downhill, and my self-worth is going downhill. And I find myself struggling with self-hatred like I've never experienced before. I wouldn't smile. I couldn't show my teeth. If I'd laugh, I'd cover my mouth. It was just, it wasn't helpful, and I would go out on dates, and I just, I'd cover my mouth, and I have a beautiful smile. I have a beautiful face, and I would just cover it because I was just so embarrassed and ashamed with what was going on, And so when I first came to Storehouse, I heard Tracy preach on the kingdom like I'd never heard before, and how to sow a seed. And if the Lord told you that he's going to do something, then you can sow a seed in faith, because the financial seed can multiply into anything, right? And this is the kingdom. It's the Lord's goodness. If he said it, then I can believe it, and I can put my money where my mouth is, basically. And so I sowed a seed for the first time after hearing that message. And I said, Lord, I'm struggling, but I believe you. You told me you'd give me my smile. And so I believe you. So years go by, and I go back, I oscillate. I oscillate with self-doubt, with doubt in general with the Lord, and disappointment and lack of hope. And then I come back up, and I'm like, no, I believe you, Lord. You told me. You told me. I don't want to waver, Romans 4:20 and 21. I don't want to waver and then believe. I want to believe that you said this is true. So I'd sow another seed. And I just keep, every time I would struggle with unbelief, I'd sow another seed, and I'd be strengthened in faith, and I'd sow, in total, it was between, I think, $300 to $600 that I sowed, and just over 5 years. So it seems like a lot of money up front, but over 5 years, it was just a little bit at a time. And someone came up to me in 2021 and said, the Lord told me to give you $10,000 so you can go get your smile fixed. And I was shocked. I was like, Lord, I know you're moving. You're doing something with this. And I know that you can do this. So I'm not going to get my hopes up, but at the same time, I believe your word. And so I went to a dentist once again and did all the x-rays, and they looked at my mouth and they said, oh, it's going to cost you $45,000. So that's now $15,000 in excess from the original $30,000 quote that I first got. And I went home and I cried. I was like, Lord, I know you said. And throughout the whole time, the Lord had been taking me through a healing process. You know, I lost my mom. I almost lost my dog. I lost my car. My car died on me. And there was just so many things that were happening at the same time. And all in the midst of, the Lord is doing this deep heart work in me of, Bethany, do you believe you're loved? And I just said, Lord, like, I want to believe that. And so 2021, right? It was a little over a year later, after the $45,000 bill that I got that I couldn't go through with because it just wasn't enough. I'm sitting in my room and I'm weeping. Just the pain over the years that I experienced, just with my mouth, with my teeth, the swelling, the different infections that I would experience in my mouth. It was dreadfully painful. It was always like a low level frustration there because there's pain all the time. So one day I'm sitting in my room and I'm in pain. My teeth are hurting, my gums are hurting. I think I have an infection in my mouth, and I just am weeping. And my roommate comes in, who happens to be one of my dearest friends, Ariel. She walks in and says, hey, what's going on? I said, I'm just in pain. And I believe the Lord will do something. He said he would. But I'm struggling right now. This is hard because I'm just in so much pain. And she's like, can I pray for you? So she prays for me. And as a good friend, she weeps over me and she weeps with me. And she goes away. And the next day she comes back and she says, I have a surprise for you. And I'm like, okay, what's the surprise? She said, I found this dentist on Instagram. And I reached out to him and asked him if he would consider looking at your mouth. He does all these giveaways, right? And she said he's willing to work with what you have. And I said, are you serious? She said, yeah. And so she said, just go in. Make an appointment and just go in and let's see what he says. And so I was like, Lord, you're moving. I believe you. I know you love me. And so, already I'm like, thank you, Lord, for the miracle. Thank you for my friend who loves me. And so I go see this dentist and he, once again, I do all the x-rays, I do all the things. And he comes out and he said, oh, Bethany, we're going to give you the most beautiful smile that you've ever had in your whole life. And I said, what? And he said, we're going to work with you on your price and on what you have, and we're going to work with you. And I said, oh, that's it? And he said, yeah. Go out and schedule an appointment. We'll get the finances all taken care of. You can go and start scheduling the next steps for your surgeries. And I said, this is insane. I'm completely speechless. I was so moved. I couldn't even emote, And so I go to the CFO's office for the dentist office, and I sit down with her, and she said, all right, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do. That's going to cost this, 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 and this, and this. Altogether, the cost for this is $60,000. Now, with the $10,000 that you have, she said, watch this. She pressed enter, and it all went to zero. And that's when it hit me. And the Lord was like, I love you, Bethany. And I was shook, to say the least. So December 2021, I got my teeth taken care of. The process started, and I'm still walking through everything, but now I can smile freely with confidence because my Father in heaven, who loves me more than I could ever know, gave me my smile back. He gave me my joy back. And through the process, like, self-hatred is completely being demolished in my life. And I am so grateful for just everything that I have been able to experience through his love, through community, a huge one. It makes me want to sing louder and worship longer. And, a lot of people will say I'm a very passionate, fierce worshiper. And there's a reason for that, because I once couldn't. I was too embarrassed to open my mouth to sing. And now I just want to tell everyone, I have my joy back. I'm deeply loved. And I'm a daughter. And this is who my Father is. He cares, and he takes care of me. So this is my story, and I hope that you feel impacted by this.